There are moments in business when you already know the answer. You can feel what a decision needs to be, but then you go looking for someone or something to confirm that what you already know is right before you act on it. I want to talk about that today because that's not indecision, it's underdeveloped self-trust. And those two things need very different responses. Maybe you post something and then you immediately start scanning the response, not to learn from it, but to find out whether you were right to say the thing in the first place. You make a decision and then you stay in the research phase well past the point where more research is actually useful because you're not looking for information, you're waiting for permission to act on what you already know. You get a strong sense that an offer needs to go out, that a price needs to be at a certain level, that a particular piece of content is exactly what your audience needs to hear right now. And then you postpone doing anything about these things while you wait to feel more certain. And here's the thing, you're not stuck. You know what you're doing. You just don't trust what you know yet. And those are completely different things, different causes, different costs, and a different kind of work to move through it. Hi there, I'm Lyndon. Welcome back to this channel about entrepreneurial leadership for women in online business. What I'm teaching here comes from having been around a decade or so in online business now, including long stretches where I was very much doing the thing that I'm going to describe today. So let's get into it. The gap between knowing and trusting. That's what I want to look at here because it's one of the most specific experiences in business and one of the most important gaps to close as a business owner. Knowing is an internal event. It comes from experience, from paying attention to your business, from accumulated judgment that you've been building, whether you've been crediting yourself for it or not. Most women at this stage have considerably more of this than they give themselves credit for. The knowing is there, but trusting is different. It means acting on what you know before you have confirmation that it was right. And that's the part that's genuinely hard, not because you lack the capability, but because there's nothing in our professional formation before business that's prepared us for it. In employment, in structured careers, in any environment with a clear hierarchy, the signal to take action was someone else's sign-off, whether directly or through standard procedures or company culture. That was the mechanism. You developed a competence, someone verified it, and then you acted. And acting without that verification felt like a risk to avoid or explicitly was something to avoid. In entrepreneurship, that mechanism doesn't exist. The confirmation comes after the action, not before. And because we haven't trained for that, a lot of capable women with well-developed judgment find themselves in a loop, knowing something, then looking outward for permission to act on it, then finding the permission isn't quite convincing enough, then going back to research, and then going round in that circle again. And each time around that loop, the self-trust that would have grown from just taking action erodes a little further. And I spent a long time in that loop myself. And the frustrating thing is that it can seem like conscientiousness from the inside. It feels like being thorough, being responsible, not rushing into things and being reckless. But there's a line, and I feel like I should get that as a tattoo because I'm always saying it. The online business space isn't great at acknowledging that the line exists, let alone where it sits. And that's part of what my work is here to do, because there's a difference between genuine due diligence and confirmation seeking dressed up as due diligence. The first produces necessary information that you didn't have, and the second just delays the decision that you need to make. And the commercial cost is very real. Delayed decisions, diluted actions, offers that either go out late or not at all, content that gets written and rewritten until it loses the thing that made it worth saying in the first place. Your business runs at a lower pace than your actual capability would support, not because your capability isn't there, but because you keep waiting for someone to confirm it before you use it. When you've built the self-trust muscle. And it's a muscle, it builds through use and needs ongoing attention. You're in a moment of decision and you know what it needs to be. You notice the pull to consult, to check things, to ask around, or to talk to AI. And instead of following it automatically, you ask yourself specifically, do I actually need information that I don't have, or am I looking for permission? And that question usually settles things. You move from your own thinking or only ask the questions that will mean that you can do so. Maybe you're in one of those stretches where nothing much is confirming anything, the kind that used to send you back to the drawing board to start again because the silence felt like it was a signal of something. You notice a pull to change course, but you don't follow it, not because you're suppressing it, but because you've learned to tell the difference between your business telling you something and your discomfort looking for a way out. They feel different now. You can tell. You still don't always have certainty before you act, but that stopped being the requirement for you. You trust yourself to move without it, and the decisions that you make from that place are cleaner and the business is steadier for it. So the key shift that I want to leave you with: closing the gap between knowing and trusting isn't about waiting until you feel more confident before you act. It's about building a body of evidence for yourself over time that your thinking is reliable. By acting on it, seeing what it produces, and letting that inform your next decision. That's what self-trust actually is. Not a feeling that you arrive at that never leaves again, but a track record that you build. So something that I want to invite you to sit with this week is, what's one thing that you already know the answer to in your business that you've been feeling that you would like to be more certain about? And what would it look like to move on that from your own thinking this week? Not recklessly, but from your own considered judgment, with the intention of staying with it long enough to find out what it actually tells you in your own business. If you want a structured place to do the work around this, recalibrate your 30-day practice in confident decision making is where I'd point you to. I created it specifically for women who know their business and know that more strategy isn't what they need right now. And you'll find the link in the description if you want to have a look at that. Next week, we're going to shift the focus outward slightly to what it actually costs to keep running a business that you haven't grown into as its owner. It's a specific kind of cost and it shows up in particular ways. So if there's a gap between where your business is heading and who you're currently being as its leader, then that's what we'll be getting into. If this channel is giving you a way of thinking about your business that feels genuinely useful, then subscribing means that you won't miss what's coming next. And a like on your way out the door would really help other business owners to find this video. If you have comments or questions, then please do leave them below. I would love to know which part of the video resonated with you the most. In the meantime, bye for now.